So before we dive into this 4 parts of SEO video, I want to show you something pretty darn cool to hopefully get you fired up about what search engine optimization can do for you. Okay, so first of all, I'm on a rent-to-own website from an Investor Carrot member's website. Look at the dates over here. Of course, this is about the time that I'm filming this video, but this happens all the time, every single day for this client in this market. It happens for tons of our customers as well who implement what we teach and leverage our system. But look where they came from. Google search, Google search, Google search, Google search, Google search. Some Facebook ones, Google search, Google search. Let's jump over to a different type of website. Here's one for cash buyers. Same thing, lots of leads coming in right there. Google search, Google search, Google search. Tons of cash buyers coming in from Google search. Okay, yeah, search engine optimization. Let's go check out sellers. You say, hey, I want motivated sellers. This is a completely different client, a completely different market. Right there, seller, Google search, Google search, Google search. A bunch of sellers, all from SEO right there. Okay, so what I wanted to show you that for, and the reason I wanted to show you that is because you can generate leads with search engine optimization, very consistent, high quality, very, very effective leads, leveraging search engine optimization. But you have to do it correctly, and you have to get the 4 parts I'm going to teach in this video right. So let's go ahead and dive into those 4 parts right now. Alrighty, let's dive in. As we're going through this inbound marketing series, one of the things we want to do before we really dive in and give you specific things to implement with search engine optimization is we really need to give you kind of a 10,000 foot view education on what's most important with search engine optimization. And as I mentioned in the email that you likely got when you landed here, if you did not read an email to get here, awesome. I'll let you know what we're going to dive into here. But there's 4 main parts to search engine optimization, and I'm going to walk through what they are, why certain ones are important, what you really need to pay attention to, and what you don't need to pay attention to, because there's a lot of information out there on search engine optimization. And if you're trying to soak in everything there is to know about it, you're going to end up being overwhelmed. You're going to end up not knowing what your next actions are, and that's not our goal here. We want to make sure that we deliver just the information that you need to know now to get a result and not bulldoze you with content. Okay, so the 4 main parts of search engine optimization are these 4 parts here. And I'm going to walk through them in this about 7-minute video. The first part is the URL factors, or things like your website. What is built on your website? How is your website built? How is the page structure on your website set up? Is it set up in a way that Google likes it? Is there a sitemap that Google likes on there? This is basically talking about the technical elements of your website and the URL with it, okay? And the second part is the on-page things. We're talking here about the content. We're talking about the way that you might be using keywords or keyword phrases, or the relevancy of the content on your page to the phrase that you're wanting to rank with. The third part of SEO is off-page stuff. So you can do number 1 or number 2 really, really well and rank really well for phrases that aren't really, really competitive sometimes, okay? But the off-page stuff is where that's going to really help you ramp things up even further. So if you're in a competitive market or going after competitive keyword phrases, these off-page things, these off-page factors are insanely important. And I'm going to walk through basically what they are. And then the 4th part is social factors. And technically we could lump that into off-page factors, but we're making it its own just for the sake of this education. Okay, so the first part we're talking about here is URL factors. And once again, URL factors, we're talking about your actual domain name. So there's certain things that could affect the way that your website ranks, like how long you've owned the domain age, the way that your website is set up, like I said. And here's certain things. The age of your domain name, structure of your URLs on your website are factors Google looks at. Okay, but they're not huge, but they are factors Google looks at. A nice, simple URL structure is a really good thing. And these are things that we've already built into Investor Carrot. So you don't have to do any of this URL structure stuff if you're an Investor Carrot member watching this. So we've essentially taken about 60% of everything in step 1 and step 2 that I showed you before, and we've done it for you in the Investor Carrot platform. And then from there, it makes it a lot easier and a lot quicker to implement a little bit more of the on-page optimization, off-page stuff, and social stuff if you're in a competitive market. Okay, so once again, if you are an Investor Carrot member, we've taken about 60% of the work on the front end off of your lap, automated it into the system, and made it way, way easier for you, which is one of the reasons why so many Investor Carrot members are crushing it online, and more Investor Carrot members own page 1 rankings and top 3 rankings for search phrases that matter in Google than any other website platform in our industry. Okay, so one of the reasons right here is a nice simple URL structure. It's a good thing. Complicated is a bad thing. So on the left side we have the simple structure. You can see right there, yoursite.com / you've got your keyword phrase. Let's say you're going after sell my Atlanta house. You might want to have in your URL structure those keywords in there. Sell my Atlanta house. Okay, or how it works. Okay, so that's nice and simple. It's easy for anyone to understand. Now, too many people, especially people who start websites on WordPress or something like that, have a very complicated URL structure. And if you're not a techie person, you may have to dive into the WordPress settings or whatever and try to change it. So you don't want to have too many forward slashes in there and too many directories in there like that example there. Sell / selling your house / Boston. That's not very friendly. It's complicated. Google doesn't like that as much. And it is going to affect your search rankings. And then the one on the bottom, that's a very popular and very common WordPress URL structure by default for blog posts. By default, oftentimes WordPress websites are going to put in $P and then the post number. And that's something that you have to know how to go in there and change and make sure that you're getting your URL structure correct. And there are certain settings in WordPress that you can do that. Just research them. Like I said, Investor Carrot, this is all already built in for you to make sure it gives you the edge with search engine optimization so you don't have to even worry about it. Okay. So the second part is on-page things. And on-page things, it's a very, very technical phrase right there, right? On-page things. On-page factors are basically things where it's the things that the visitor can see on the page, the content on there. Okay, your headings on there, your pictures on there, and are you tagging the pictures correctly? The content, is the content written correctly, and is it optimized in the right way and not over-optimized, not under-optimized? So here's some on-page things to really look at. Now, before we dive into those, on-page, just to kind of tie it back to our farming theme that we like to go with here at Investor Carrot with inbound marketing. At the start with the farming theme, you have the planting, you have the nurturing, you have grow and harvest. You have those 4 phases of farming that are the same 4 phases of inbound marketing. And on the inbound marketing side with your on-page optimization, on-page for your website search engine optimization is kind of like the soil for a farmer to grow a good crop. So if you're getting ready to plant something, you wouldn't start planting seeds in really bad soil. You wouldn't start planting seeds in soil that didn't have any nutrients, that was dry, that was barren. Okay? If you did, I think you'd probably realize that you wouldn't grow a very good crop. But too many real estate investors and agents think that if they start marketing, which is your planting and your nurturing, if they start marketing their website, doing the SEO or doing pay-per-click, and their website is not set up correctly on the technical level and on the on-page optimization level, that basically they're planting all these seeds in soil that's not fertile. And they're doing all this work and it's not going to end up producing the harvest, the crop that they want to produce. Okay? So your on-page factors are insanely, insanely important. And this is the biggest thing that I see a lot of real estate investors missing, is they're doing this incorrectly. And they're really putting themselves at a huge disadvantage, wasting a ton of time, wasting a ton of money, and they end up getting discouraged thinking that online marketing doesn't work. And a huge part of it is because they're not taking care of the soil. They're not taking care of the soil before they plant, which is your website. The technical part, the way it's set it up so Google likes it, set it up so it converts high to a visitor, just like we've taught in this email series. And also set it up to where the on-page factors, the content, the images, the structure, are in a very friendly way for Google. If you didn't have fertile soil with the right nutrients and minerals, you can't grow a good crop. And the exact same thing is true with online marketing, with search engine optimization. You cannot grow a fertile crop and harvest that crop, or you cannot grow a big pipeline of quality leads and harvest those leads into deals at the pace that you want to, unless you nail having an insanely great website set up structurally on the technical side well, and optimized well on the foundational level. Okay, so some ways that you can make your content more relevant and help your on-page optimization be better. Now, we have a full blog post about this on the Investor Carrot website. Go to oncarrot.com /blog and then find the post that we have in there where it's something like the 12 key factors to on-page optimization. We also linked to it from one of these emails in this series that you've likely already received. So the content relevant, how well does the content on your website relate to a specific search phrase? And is it high quality content? There's a lot of conversation going around the web and in forums and bigger pockets and things like that, where people are saying, hey, you don't really need that much content on your websites. Now, Google has came out and said that they prefer websites with high quality and robust content. Okay, they don't prefer websites that they consider thin websites or thin content, which all that means is you go to a page and it really doesn't have much value. It doesn't have a whole lot of content. So on our Investor Care websites, as an example, you go on there and there's lots of great content, lots of really great engaging content. It gets the visitor to click around, learn more, but at every turn, we're getting the person to convert into a lead. That's why our websites convert way higher than the industry average. They're structured very strategically to work well, so you get a higher return on investment with the traffic you're driving to it. But you can see here in this page, if I have houses that are rent-to-own homes in Birmingham, and I'm going after that phrase, rent-to-own homes in Birmingham, you can see the content on this page is very, very relevant to that search phrase. Up there on the top it says find rent-to-own homes in Birmingham. Down below, rent-to-own homes in Birmingham. In the content, we mix it up, Birmingham rent-to-own home program, things like that. So go through some of our other trainings, some of our blog posts, or if you are an Investor Care member and have the 3 lead per day training, we walk you through in excruciating detail from the beginner to the advanced person, from the techie to the non-techie person, how to do this and make it work well. And like I said, if you are an Investor Care member, your content is already optimized 60% for you in your market. We pre-populate your information for your city and your company. And then it's up to you to go in there and tweak it and personalize it and make it a little bit more yours. Okay? And we have a tool in our system called the SEO, the Cant SEO tool, the Cant SEO Grader tool. And we make it easier for you, so you don't have to be an SEO expert if you're an Investor Care member, but you can access similar tools like this, or just go to our oncart.com/blog and find that 12 key elements to on-page optimization blog post we did, and walk through it and learn that if you're not an Investor Care member, and that'll help you make sure you're optimizing your content on your page as well. If you are a Cant member, or if you want to be a Cant member, we do have our SEO Grader tool on every single page in the website, where you can put in the keyword that you're wanting to rank for in that focus keyword section. And then our system is going to walk you through with letters or with colors and with stop signs and green lights, showing you what you did right and what you need to do next to make sure that page is optimized. So you do not have to be an SEO expert when you leverage tools like this that we have built into Investor Care. And that's one of the reasons our members get such great results, once again, is we understand that you don't have to be and shouldn't have to be a search engine optimization expert or a techie. So we try to make things easier for you so you can focus more on what you love to do. And are the keywords used right? This is the other part of the SEO Grader tool. But once again, if you're not a Cant member, you can still leverage the same concept. Go to our free blog and find that 12 keys to on-page optimization. Memorize that, get used to it, learn it, and then start to put that into play on your WordPress websites or other websites. Or if you want to leverage this tool and have our system kind of walk you through with colors and what you need to do next to make sure it's optimized well, you can leverage that as well. Just go take a demo if you haven't taken a demo already, or go check out our plans through the link below. And then the third part of it, and the same thing, this is one of the things that a lot of real estate investors and agents get wrong, because you're not a techie likely. You're not a person who's going to dive in and even know what this screenshot means on the right side of this picture. That's a lot of code, a lot of wacky stuff. But there's certain things that are going to help you or hurt you rank better in Google, like how fast does your website load? One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make who use WordPress and they don't have it set up correctly is they have too many plugins on their website and too many this and too many that. So their website ends up loading very, very slowly, which Google does not like, and it will decrease your conversion rate, especially if you're in a competitive market and trying to rank in the top 5. How easy is it for Google and people to navigate around? Are you making people click through multiple layers of links, or are you making it really easy for people to find the information that they need? And are the URLs friendly, like we mentioned before? Once again, all these things are built into Investor Care. We worry about them so you don't have to. We worry about how fast your website loads. We worry about making sure that the structure is set up so you can then take it and run with it. We worry about making sure that the content is written insanely great, and then you can take it and tweak it up and personalize it from there. So you don't have to be the expert. Just follow our lead and get better results. So if you get the on-page parts right, like I walked through in very brief format. Like I said, we have full trainings on this inside the Investor Carrot platform if you're a member. If not, dive over to our blog. We have all kinds of free information over there. But the on-page parts, if you get those right, it makes it much easier to grow a great crop. Okay, bad on-page equals a thin crop. So the third part is off-page things. With off-page, what we're talking about here is off-page elements are things. It's like for SEO, it's like the water and fertilizer for a farmer. Okay, so let's say you've got that soil right, the website's right, the soil's right. It's high in nutrients and things like that. You plant great seeds, or the equivalent of what we're talking about here is your marketing. Okay, you're planting great marketing, in which the marketing could be Craigslist, it could be SEO, it could be pay-per-click, whatever it is. Okay. Now, with off-page stuff, that's like your water and your fertilizer. Okay. Of course, you cannot grow a robust crop if you're not watering it and putting some sort of nutrients on top of it, whether it's fertilizer or something else that helps it grow. Okay, so the same thing goes with off-page. It takes that fertile soil and adds the extra boost it needs to grow, which is exactly what these types of things do to your website. One of the most important parts of getting your website ranked in competitive markets after you've nailed the on-page part, which we take care of about 60% of that for Investor Carrot members, and then we make it easier for you to then go and personalize the rest and take care of the rest of the 40%. But backlinks, so what backlinks are links from other websites to your website. So you could have maybe set up a profile on a website like Hot Pages or something like that, a business directory, and it links back to your website. That's a backlink. Or let's say you wrote a really good article, or let's say you got in a business directory with the Chamber of Commerce there locally, and someone linked to an article that you wrote. Those are really, really great backlinks. And Google loves that. Google absolutely loves that. We walk you through in the 3 lead per day training how to get great backlinks, but we also have done a blog post recently on some ways to get really great backlinks. One of the next really important things that we're finding even more today is your digital footprint. And we're talking about getting your business listed in directories, getting a YouTube channel, linking from there to your website, social media profiles and linking from there to your website, things like that. So if you already have a website out there, go out there and get a YouTube channel and make sure that you're getting some videos up there and linking to your website. Go out there and get a profile on LinkedIn and Facebook and things like that, and link them to your website and throw some posts in there every now and then. And go out there and get a business listing on Yelp and Yellow Pages and Yellowbook and Manta and all those other websites, okay? And once again, if you're an Investor Carrot member, we walk you through in very, very good detail how to do this. Or in our marketplace, we actually can do a lot of this for you, okay? So the fourth part of SEO, before we dive into the next part of this series and the next email that you're going to get, or if you're not in our email series, you can join the email series by opting in on our website on our demo page. Go to oncarrot.com/demo and get a demo of the Investor Carrot software and get into this inbound online marketing series that we're dripping out to you for free. So the fourth part of SEO is social factors, and these are things like getting people to engage on your webpage, like you can see on that picture there. There's Google pluses and Facebook likes and tweets and pins and stuff. Google likes that. Google kind of counts those as votes. And the more votes you can get that are legitimate, we're not talking go out and buy fake ones off of websites like Fiverr or overseas outsourcers. We're talking about legitimate ones. And the cool thing is you don't need to get much of them. You don't need to get 100 of them. You might only need to get 5, 10, 15, 20 of them to have that help you with your SEO long term. Now, with that said, social media is a factor, but it's small. Okay, it is small, but it is a factor. Google looks at activity social activity like little votes, like I mentioned. It doesn't mean you have to have an active Facebook page. Just that some people have to like or share your page on Facebook or Google Plus or LinkedIn. And you can see this graphic over here. This is a graphic according to a company called Search Metrics that did a study, and they did a study that correlates the factors that websites that are ranked in the top 10 have more often than websites that are ranked further on page 2 and page 3 and page 4 don't have. Okay, and you can see all those red lines. Those are all social factors. Those are saying that websites that are ranked high tend to have more Google Pluses, Facebook shares, Pinterest shares, and tweets. Now, does that mean that by doing that, it's going to help you rank better? No. You have to have the on-page stuff set first. You've got to have that foundation. You've got to have the technical part of your website set up correctly, which 90% of real estate investors don't. And they're wasting their time throwing all this money and energy into a leaky bucket, a bucket that's not going to produce them the maximum results that they could if they had things set up right. Then you've got your on-page factors, the content on there, how your website's structured, how your URLs are structured. And same thing, the majority of real estate investors get that wrong. So they're throwing all this money and energy into marketing to a leaky bucket. And then you've got your off-page factors to really ramp things up. And then last but not least, you do have your social factors, which once again, we're not going to say that you should go out there and build 100 Facebook likes and that's going to boost you from page 2 to page 1. Not going to happen, but it is a factor in the overall rankings. So as a review, here's the 4 main parts of it once again. You've got the URL and website factors, which is the structure of your website, the technical part of how your website is put together. And like I said, most people who use WordPress get this wrong. They think you can just throw up a WordPress site or throw up a Wix site or throw up a site on one of the other competitors in this market, and that's all that you need to do. That's not the case, okay? And this doesn't even go to mention any of the mobile website factors that is going into search engine optimization these days, which 100% of all of our web pages and all of our websites are not only mobile optimized, but they're also crushing it to convert, in a good way, crushing it to convert visitors into leads on a really, really high basis. Check out our latest Carrot Harvest report on our blog and see how many leads our members are generating through mobile and compare that to what you're getting right now on your website. Okay, so there's the URL factors. That's like the ground. That's like the soil. On-page factors, soil. You've got off-page factors. That's like your water and fertilizer. And then your social media factors, that's kind of like good juju. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the next part of this series. Check your inbox for the next email in this inbound marketing series for real estate investors and agents. And let's get you generating more leads. And if Investor Care is a fit for you, if you think Investor Care can help you ramp up your results so you're getting better results, a higher return on investment, spending less time doing this, less hassles with technology and marketing, so you can spend more time doing what you love to do and what makes your heart sing, check out our demo if you have not already, or go check out our pricing and plans at oncarrot.com/plans, or click the link below. The next part in this series is going to dive into more search engine optimization strategies, and then we'll dive into mobile marketing after that.